Hello and welcome back to Clay Devotion, and we are on part 10 I think now of LARKSHEAD House. Now this is the window box before I planted it up, and I've put some lovely plants in, and I've popped it up under the window, and I think that looks really nice. It's a lovely little detail, and these details make all the difference to your doll's house. So here I am doing the back wall unit for the pharmacy. Just need to finish it off. I did paint it with brown acrylic paint, and I used wood glue to make some nice little raised relief details on it. And here is one painted, the clock part, and I used a glass cabochon on the little clock face that I drew, and I put gold on the details. So I'm going to show you how I did it on this. And what I did here, that's dry now, that gold. And this is how it looks when it's finished, but I'm going to show you how I did it by putting the glue on the detail, and it's so easy. I did make a mirrored panel as well, and I seem to have lost the photo for that, and all it was little mirrored tiles. Before that, I'm going to make a hanging basket for the front of the house, because I just thought another bit of detail, all about the detail. So I found an old basket in my supplies, and I thought that would be perfect for the hanging basket. So I painted that with brown acrylic paint and dried it off with my heat gun, just because I'm too impatient to wait for something like that to dry. So I'm going to make chains to hang it with. So I've got a stash of little jump rings and a bit of chain. So I'm going to use the jump rings to connect the chain to the basket. And I do try to get the jump rings through the basket straight off, but it didn't work. So I had to put holes in the basket first. Then I attached the jump rings and the chain. So it worked out really well, actually. I've never made one before, and it did work out really well. I managed to find some old plants that I had from an old fish tank ornament, I think it was. And obviously they've been cleaned, and I trimmed them down and I added them to the basket. Here I make a hook for the wall for the hanging basket to hang off, and I use some wire and I just twist it round to make it look a bit ornate, and I'm going to put that on a cardboard back, and that will be painted and attached to the wall to hang the basket on. And I think it looks okay there. When it's finished, I'll show you in a sec. It does look all right. So I'm just bending it round. These jewellery pliers are brilliant. I've used them for years, and they're so good for this. This is what you need if you're gonna start bending metal and wire and all this. They're tough little things, I tell you. So after a bit of fiddling around, I get it done, get it into shape, and then I'm going to attach it to some cardboard like so. And literally it was just stick it on card, stick another piece of card over it. Now I'm going to use gold paint. It's just gold acrylic paint. It's one of my favourites, and I'm just picking out the detail on the shelves, and this will just add a bit of interest, and it will reflect a bit of light when the light goes in. As yet I have not decided where the light is going, but I will show that in a future video when I figure out where the lights are going. I'm just not decided yet, but this is how I do it. I just get some gold paint on my finger and brush it over. You could do it with a dry brush, but for what I wanted, sometimes your fingertip is better. So that's what I'm doing here. It is not down to laziness. It really was, because it's better for the job. And yeah, if you believe that, you believe anything. So that is done. And yeah, quite pleased with that. It's going to look quite nice. And like I said, it's just a bit of interest, and when the shelves are loaded with bottles and packets, it's going to look great. So I do need now to make some cupboards for the bottom of the wall, just there. So after measuring it out and figuring out what size I need and comparing it to the size of Margaret, I do measure out the shape of the cupboard, the size that I need. So here I am making a kickboard or little skirt for the bottom of the cupboards. And these are fake cupboards, these don't work. They are just literally for display at the back of the room. And I need to make some door panels, and that's what I'm doing here. measuring out. I do one and then I tend to measure that out for the rest of them, because it's easier for me. My measuring, even if I use a ruler, doesn't seem to be that accurate for some reason. I don't know why. I can defy the ruler. I don't know how I do it. It's a special power of mine. So I cut one and then I'll use that to, there you go, measure the next one and the next one and the next one. So I think I cut about 5 panels, I think, for this. And this will form the pretend cupboards. I've made little hinges from a thinner card, just little strips that are stuck on, and they will be painted in the end when I glue them on. And I'm making little door handles with my trusty little hole cutter there. It's quite a cute little cutter because it's got like a little hatch underneath. You open the hatch and you can take the cardboard out. It's really cute, like the old hole punches, I suppose, but instead of getting 2 you get the 1. So I'm using wood glue here again, my favourite, to create some more detail on the doors. Just a little bit of like a carving kind of pattern on the top. And once that's dry, I will be able to paint that. And again, when that is all dry, I'm going to use gold to accent that, which you will see in a little while. And next, I am making the worktop, the countertop for on top of those cupboards, and I'm just using thinner card on top of the thick craft card. And again, I've used wood detail and I've scored the top and gluing them down onto that thicker card just to give the impression of a wood slatted top, and it seems to work really well. I'm using wood glue to stick that because wood glue works really well with this craft board because it's quite a rough surface and it's quite absorbent, and this dries so much quicker than normal PVA or tacky glue, so hence the wood glue. So I'm pleased with that. It does stick really quickly, and I'm just showing you here how I'm doing the rest of the unit top. Now this is the hanging basket finished with the little plants that I used. And now I am showing you how I quickly do the gold detail. First of all, using my fingertip again because I'm not lazy, and I rub over the relief with the gold paint on my fingertip, and then after that I add some with a paintbrush. See, not that lazy after all. Paint over the detail with that, with the gold, and once that's dry it is varnished. You know me and my varnish, about 2 or 3 coats of that, and then that is done. It'll be more or less ready to fit in. Now when I put it against the wall, I do pack this door, this front, with foam, and I attach that to the wall so it is packed against the wall. Otherwise I had a problem getting it to stand out from the wall, otherwise it would be completely flat against the wall. So I do pack it behind it because it's a false cupboard, it's not real. It doesn't need to have a frame inside if you're not even using the doors or can even see inside them. So I just pack with foam behind it, and that works a treat. So I will show you that when it goes in. So nearly done on that. And yeah, I like that. The hinges turned out really well, and that was the hook for the hanging basket. Now I'm planning, this is the interesting bit, planning what to do with the room next to the pharmacy here. Now I've decided that it's going to have a false door because the doorway into the pharmacy is going to go past part of their private living quarters. So this is going to be a false wall. So I'm using double the thickness of card. I need to let that dry, loads of glue on there, and I peg it down after rolling it. Peg it down, make sure it sticks. So I've lined the walls, and I'm going to make some ripped wallpaper. Now this room is a very old room that Margaret hasn't got round to decorating at all yet. She's not long got this house, so I'm going to make it look really bad. Now watch for this. this is pretty terrible. So, oh yes, it looks really nice and pretty, and I've ripped off the paper to look like somebody at some point has thought about redecorating the room quite a long time ago. And you'll realise why it is covered with a panel when you come to see the end of it, because it's going to look really, really bad. So, like I said, I'm going to make it look rough. So here we go. Somebody has tried ripping the wallpaper down, so we have got ripped pieces of the paper. Excuse the wobbly filming, because I do manage to have a stand for part of it, and then for some of it I have to hold it in my hand as I'm doing it, so excuse that. So I'm just sticking it on with PVA, and it really does not have to be neat at all, as you will see why in a moment. So gluing it on, and it really, yeah, I'm wondering, do we have little bits curling off? Don't know yet, don't know. Stick this around the whole of the room, and I'll go right around the room, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just doing the other wall, and I'm going around with the ripped paper. Now, I thought it was a really good idea using that. If it was paper I printed off myself, I wouldn't be able to use a wet glue. But then again, because I'm making a mess of the room, it wouldn't really have mattered. But this is pre-made paper that I've got from a stash of papers that I have. This bit was fun to do ideal, because it's one of the only times you don't have to be really neat in doing a doll's house wall when you're making an effect like this. So here I am using watered down PVA, and I do realise that this brush is not big enough at all, so I do swap to a bigger brush. But I just want to seal in that paper before I add the next effect that I'm going to add. So I put this PVA on, there we go, bigger brush, brush that all over the walls, and now I'm making a brownie black wash. Oh, look at the mess. Get that on there, slop it on, it's brilliant. And it really is going to make this horrible effect look really effective. It will look good at the end. Well, it'll look rubbish at the end, and that's what we want. So I'm going round the walls. You've got to think that this room has been left to mould and mess for years. I mean, what? How many years? Years and years. So this is what the effect I want to create. So get in with a dark wash, and that's how I'm leaving that. Then I go over it all again with just a wet brush, just to blend in that dark wash a bit, and just to put like a grey effect over the rest of the walls, and just it blends it in. And then I'm going in with a tissue, and it's creating that kind of mottledy, kind of bare plaster yet dirty bits of wallpaper left behind look. I don't know what you call it, but that's what I'm calling it. And just rubbing it down, and it does make a really good effect. It really does look good. And excuse the wobbly filming again, but just dabbing it over with a tissue, and then at some point I do use a wet wipe as well, just to blend it and take some off and add some in. And once I'm happy with it, that's it. Now I just need to let that dry. I can always adjust it again if I want the colour to be darker, etc. when it's dry. So I'm back to the fake wall panel, and I'm sticking a skirting board on there, and just using another piece of thick card on top, and that'll make one skirt, and then a little thinner piece on top of that, and that makes your skirting board. Now I'm making the serving countertop, and I've made some shelves, and I've reinforced the shelves underneath with little strips of card, because I don't want them to collapse in the middle, especially when they've got items on them. So that's all I'm doing there, just sealing around and supporting the shelves. Same again on the top, some carved cardboard detail to make it look like wood for the countertop. And here I'm using some like effect gel. It's like it hardens, like what the wood glue would do. I thought I'd try something different, and I'm just making a bit more detail on there, using the word detail a lot today, and I'm just adding some to the edges because these are going to be freestanding cupboards. I've not decided yet whether I'm going to put glass on them, not sure. So this is the false wall. Now on that false wall, the one that hides the living quarters, the badly decorated room, I'm making a fake door, and I'm using a tissue box card. I think it's a tissue box or a biscuit box. Now this card is brilliant. It's one of my favourites to use because it's so versatile and it bends easy, and you can create the embossed detail on it easy. You must score the back because it does help it glue a lot better. It provides a key for the glue to stick to. So I've done that, and I'm making panels out of the same card again and gluing them on. I've also scored the backs of those pieces as well, just to ensure that it sticks well. You don't want it to fall off when you've put all the work into painted it. So sticking those panels on, and then I make a little door handle, and that is it for this part of the video, because we are near Christmas, and I want to thank you all for your support for this video, and for the channel. You've been absolutely brilliant, and I just really enjoy making these videos, and to know that you enjoy watching them, it makes my day. It's brilliant. I really do hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. It's been a year for us. It's been full of events, as I assume yours has as well. So do take care, have a safe and happy Christmas, and I will see you next time. Bye now. Bye.